No man, for any considerable period, can wear one face to himself and another to the multitude, without finally getting bewildered as to which may be the true. Nathaniel Hawthorne. Good afternoon. Usually I would be done with it, but I guess drama seems to find me regardless of what I want. But sure, this is part of the game. Let's finish the game. Let's play it out. Let's have it keep going, because you know, that's what it's all about, right? All right, so 7 hours ago, and I went ahead and pinned it. Kathy Vogan, artist, responds, makes a comment, which, look, rather than deleting it, censoring it, I pin the comment because I want this to be discussed. I think the craziest moment for me was reading your statement on screen while hearing you loudly proclaim that you didn't say it. I never said I didn't proclaim it. I said there's more to the context that you are not specifying. And let me show you again. Look, Rodney Mitchell says Ebon Kim refers to mass shootings as false flags. One, I've never ever referred to mass shootings as false flags. I have how many videos out there on just my main channel and not just my backup channel? Why don't we look? Okay, 843 videos with maybe thousands of hours of me talking. Just find one instance where I say mass shooting is a false flag. One, you will never find it. And you should probably report on that. So far, we have not found Ebon Kim to have referred to mass shootings as false flags. Right, and it's still there. Go to comments. All right. Hey, Leela, what did they say? Not now, okay? I'll let you know when, okay? What?
My game is messed up. I can't play my game now.
Can you see, hit that reload button, that blue button? Go ahead and press that button.
This one?
Yeah. All right. How about you? Yeah, there you go. Is that good? Yeah. Sorry for that. All right. So, never have I once ever referred to mass shootings as false flags. This is okay. So, and what you guys do is you guys, at least Joe Laurier tells me, hey, you violated comments policy. My first third of my statement is false, and you know, it's simply untrue, and the reasoning, and if you just watch the original, not part 2, just the original, which I guess precedes this video, you'll notice that, all right, their idea is that, hey, I made a false statement, therefore my comment was I guess not censored, but just disappeared. I don't know what they mean by it's not censored, so we're gonna remove it. That's censorship. And why don't you remove Ronnie Mitt too? Okay, I would never refer to mass shootings as false flags unless there were the mass shooters, the person or people who conducted the mass shootings. The investigations led to that it was done by an outside country and we go to war with that country. Then I would refer to mass shootings as false flags if I considered mass shootings as false flags, which I don't. If I did think that a mass shooting was a psyop, I would say, yeah, it was a psyop if it was faked. Okay, so that's 2. I would never refer to mass shootings as false flags. Most likely I would have referred to them as psyops. And 2.A, whatever, I have never ever stated that mass shootings were psyops. 3, I would rather have these mass shootings as being faked with no one actually dying and be psyops than actually have these mass shootings be mass shootings. And if you would rather have these mass shootings to actually be mass shootings, then you want people to actually have died? So 3, yes, I would rather have these mass shootings as being psyops and fake rather than having real people having died. Now 4, now saying that, I would not have the government or any entity or organization mislead the people of the United States and the world that these things are real when they are not and they are faking it. So regardless of that, of point 3, point 4, I would not have them fake it so they could take away people's rights and their freedoms. So yes, do we see Ronnie Mitchell's comment? Now this is a false statement, untrue. I've never said or referred to mass shootings as false flags. Never ever. Even if you construe and take my saying what I said in my video, let's see. Oh, yeah, let's see. It's in the comment box. Let's go to the comment box. It's still there. All right.
Health and safety over the fund.
Like, they are focusing on 1/3, again, 1/3 of my comment. I think the fact that these mass shootings cannot be investigated. Look, what if I went to your site and go, hey, look, 1/3 of this title, Russiagate is dead. That's a false statement. Oh my goodness. Why aren't you deleting that article? Russiagate is not dead. Oh, wait, because I didn't read in full context, huh? Russiagate is dead, but for the political establishment, it is still the new 42. This is an untrue statement. I mean, you're taking a statement out of its full context. That's what Consortium News is doing with my statement. And even if my statement about that is untrue, which it's not, do I still refer to mass shootings as false flag? The closest thing I say about it is an indicator that it may be a false flag or psyop. May be is not referring to as is. There's a reason why it says it may be. And it never says it's a totality. I say it's an indicator. So look, I'm using two important words here to describe what it is or isn't. And I never say it is or isn't. I said an indicator that it may be. That is not a certainty of a statement that I make that it refers to as mass shootings as a false flag. Never, ever. And you're construing Ronnie Mitchell. And you're leaving you're not censoring him. You're leaving his untrue statement there. And again, you're only using 1/3 of my statement. Russiagate is dead. Russiagate is not dead. Oh wait. Oh, there's other parts to that sentence. Huh? Does Ebon have other parts to his sentence? Yes. Look, they're separated by commas. I think the fact that these mass shootings cannot be investigated, that's all you're pointing out. This is all you're pointing out. Yeah, I've got comma. To ensure it's not a false flag or psyop is an indicator that may be a false flag or psyop. Not that it in totality is. And of course, in the last video, I went over the entirety of how Robert Perry himself, as the founder, talks about that there are psyops. And the U.S. is flooded with psyops. And it's targeted to the American people. And what they're calling it is perception management. And he's tracing it back. And as far as he can trace back, it only gets up to the 80s. There's plenty more. I mean, you could probably link it to COINTELPRO, which started in 1956. Which is pretty much the same thing. Yet they say it ended in 1971. Yet if perception management continues to this day, then it's a continuation of COINTELPRO, but in a different circumstance. You guys aren't going to question that. You guys aren't going to look into that. You're not going to look into the statement of whether Ronnie Mitchell, if that statement that I have ever referred to mass shootings as false flag is true. Never. All right, let's continue on here, because this statement contains a factual error and a consequently invalid argument. I think the fact that these mass shootings cannot be investigated to ensure it's not a false flag or psyop is an indicator that may be a false flag or psyop. If we agree on what a fact is, your argument begins with a false premise. The fact that these mass shootings cannot be investigated, that is in fact is untrue. Look, you know what's untrue? That Russiagate is dead. Why don't we break that down? If you're going to start off with an article on Consortium News where your argument begins with the false premise, well, this argument is a false premise, and you're gonna say what? Oh, well, no, it's different, because this guy is a journalist, because look, he has other parts to it. Yeah, and I'm telling you exactly the same thing. I have other parts to my sentence, and they can be investigated and are by the FBI, journalists, and citizens alike. Okay, so do you trust the FBI to verify that it's not a false flag or psyop when it's the FBI that participated in COINTELPRO? Who watches the watchers? Who investigates the investigators? Journalists. Like, if we have to rely on journalists like you, I'm not gonna be satisfied with it, especially when you can't even figure out what your own hypocrisy is. Russiagate is dead. That is a false premise. That is an untrue statement. Yet you guys have it on one of your articles on August 11th. It's a headline. False statement. Oh, what are you going to say? Oh, it's different. It's different because it's a journalist saying it. Or it's different because reasons. You can't state those reasons. And citizens alike. Oh yeah? Why don't you talk with Wolfgang Halbig? Why don't you talk with what was that guy's name? I don't necessarily follow him. They're looking into not just the narrative, the official narrative of Sandy Hook Elementary School's mass shooting. They're looking into things that are outside of it, with tangible evidence, with invoices and emails, etc. Is he being attacked? Is he being censored? Is he being has he been challenged in court? Has he been sued? Yes. So are there certain things where he wants to go and ask, said FBI about certain events that went on? Does he get answers? No. So how can you say that these investigations to determine if it is a false flag or psyop often are, or always are? Are all mass shootings investigated as false flags or psyops? All? Or are you saying they're just often? So not all. So if it's not all, then there's potential that they could be a false flag or psyop. Now that is a key word here. Often are. You should see if you're taking a stance that no mass shootings have ever been a false flag or psyop, or all of them have been investigated by FBI journalists and citizens alike, then put all here. Otherwise, this is a false statement by you. If they cannot be, if it is only often and not all the time, then this is a false statement. How can you even argue about that? You're making a false statement right there. If you put in this word often. They either all are investigated or they are not. If they are often, it's not all. And therefore, you're even getting my term incorrect. And then, since what you assert as a premise is demonstrably false, your conclusion makes no sense. Again, all right. Your statement breached CN's policy, however, because it contained false information. Yeah, false information is right here. Ronnie Mitchell. That's a false information. Do you keep it there? How about... I don't need that anymore. How about this? Russiagate is dead. Is that false information? Yeah, Russiagate is is a conspiracy theory by the establishment itself. But yeah, is this a false statement? Yes. It's still up there? Why don't you just take it down? The whole point of my reply is that Ronnie Mitchell is lying. I've never referred to mass shootings as false flags. And you go, oh yeah, these views do not reflect Consortium news. Thank you for pointing that out. Good. Why don't you just point that out? Let me speak rather than attacking me. And, oh, let's see. Did I come to you? Or did you come to me asking for help? Huh. It looks like you came to me, right? You came asking for help from me. You want my help? What did I say? Hey, you know, my current stance on things are quite controversial. But as someone doing technical work, I doubt it will be much of an issue. Well, I guess it is an issue, and you're censoring that. And of course, making false statements about my statements. Not only false statements, you're taking it out of context. You're just focusing on the beginning 1/3, right? Yet, beginning 1/3, Rushgate is dead. No one does that except for people with no integrity in journalism. Mainstream media often do it. They take certain things out of context and they run with it. And then they attack the person who said it, even though it was taken out of context. So, yeah, you're taking this out of context. You don't regard the entirety of my statement. And then you say, well, they are and or often are. Not always, often are investigated. So if it's not all the time, then this is not... this whole statement is not false. Or even the first part. If at any point in time where it's not investigated, then this has merit. Even just the first third, which all you're focusing on. Not the second third or the 3/3. Just like this one, the first third. Imagine not considering the second third or the third third. And then here's where it gets pretty bad. I mean, all of this can easily have been just kind of mitigated. Don't be a hypocrite. Say, hey, you will leave your stuff up there. Oh no, let's see this. I want to reply. Let's see if this comment stays up. Okay, Bon Kim at Pro. Oh, come on. What? All right, let's go back. All right, let's do this again. Comment. I, Ebon Kim, have never ever stated that mass shootings have never ever referred to mass shootings. Oh my goodness. As false flags. I have over... Alright, let's see. How much do I have again? $843 videos. Okay. I have 843, at least 843 videos on my main YouTube channel account. And I don't know how much I got on my not including videos on other platforms or on my secondary backup YouTube channel. Plus, I would never refer to mass shootings as false flags, but instead would refer to them as potential or possibly psyops. And let me reiterate the word possibly. I have also never ever referred to mass shootings as psyops. At most, I may have stated that they could be. But again, I would never know. So this statement by Ronnie Mitchell is untrue and a false statement. Why is Consortium News not taking his comment down for breaching the comments policy? This comment has nothing untrue about it. Has no untrue statements about it. If there are, then find one. Do your job as a journalist. Journalistic site. Post comment. Now I have a feeling that that's going to be censored out again, and that comment has zero false statements. And now here's where it gets pretty.
There's a little box, and I'm trying to go that way on my game, but there's this box, and I might press something.
Well, then don't press it. Just be careful.
No.
Oh, just click outside of it. The left mouse button. Go and click outside of it. There you go. Is that better? All right. Okay. So, continuing. Your confusion has been apparent since day one upon. Oh, this is when the attacks begin. When you started our premiere with the end critics. It took many hours to fix all the other blunders, and the whole show had to be replaced. Week 2, you played the opening credits of Week 1. Week 3, you gave us the wrong link, and viewers can find the show. Week 4 has was more or less okay, but then Week 5, you threw a tantrum about the above not meeting CN standards of accuracy, and quit with the evident intent of a wrecking ball. Little wonder you have not worked in a long time. All right, how about if I'm so incompetent, why don't you fire me? Why didn't you fire me? After Week 1, Why didn't you fire me? After week 2, why didn't you fire me? How about week 3? Why don't you fire me? How about week 4? How about you fire me? How about if I am so incompetent, why do you want a 2 weeks notice to replace me? If I am that incompetent, you want 2 more weeks of me being incompetent? Like, why would you accept that type of work? I mean, is that the type of what do you call it? The bar that you have for Consortium news? Someone who's so incompetent that first you come to me asking me to work with Consortium news. I didn't go to you. Second, I'm so incompetent after week after week after week, and you didn't fire me, and I'm so incompetent that you want 2 weeks more of my incompetence in order to replace me. That's how bad I am. You're so incompetent, Abon, and little wonder you have not worked in a long time. I choose not to work so I could teach people, show people lies. No money in it. No one's ever given me anything. There's 3 people who've donated ever in Super Chat, and I have who they are because the rarity it's so low. And how about let's go with cryptocurrency? Has anyone ever donated to my cryptocurrency donations? I can't even find it. Do I still have it? I know I do. All right, let's look at Bitcoin. Let's go over here. All right, let's block hash. Yeah, so BTC, not BTH. So no one's given me anything. This is my own address here, that's where I had some Bitcoin that I used, and you know what? There's a video of it. You see me cashing out. This is my Patreon funds. Everything I got a Patreon, I put it in Bitcoin. And you know what I did with that? I donated to this address. No. This is the one I sent it to. Wherever is mine. Whatever. I did a video of this. Basically, these sendings are to Susie Dawson. Yeah, you guys don't like Susie Dawson anymore. But still, this is way back. I donated all my Patreon money I've ever made to Susie Dawson when she needed it. I've never taken any money out for myself. And has anyone given me any donations in cryptocurrency? No. And let's see, where else? All right, Vertcoin. Has anyone given me any Vertcoin? No, none. I mean, Vertcoin is like, I think 30 cents to $1 now. I don't know. No one's even giving me one, which is 30 cents to $1. Yeah, let's see. Has anyone given me donations on Super Chat? Yes, you know who they are. And, I'm proud and happy to show who they are, because I don't get them. It's a rarity. And I take a screenshot every time. The first one was Ronnie Foshi. It's $5. Second one was Yia Namoto, $2. And who else? Port Film Co-op, $2. 3 people who have ever donated, which I have not taken any money out from my YouTube or Google account, whatever, with all these donations. which, you know, thank you everyone who has ever donated. But, you know, that's it. Do I look for work? No, I'm just going to start my own thing. Which is pretty much donation based. That's what it's going to be about. And you know, this attack is unneeded. I mean, I didn't attack you. I attacked the hypocrisy of Consortium News, the organization, which they have first statements taken out of context, which is an untrue statement on a title, a headline of an article that Consortium News has. That there are statements within Consortium News's comment section where they are false statements, yet you leave them up there, but instead you take mine down where I'm just pointing to how this statement is false. And you guys doubled down on me. Like, it's just mind-boggling. Like, I might say, you know, is this the conspiracy theory to attack Ebon? It's like Ebon was out of the picture. Like, why do you care about me? I'm some out of work bum, in your words. Where little wonder I have not worked in a long time. Where I constantly make mistakes, yet you guys don't fire me. You guys, I quit, and you guys asked for 2 more weeks of my help, and you guys are the ones who asked for my help in the first place. I mean, it's just a little weird. So yeah, I'm not even exposing you or hating on you, Kathy. I told you I like you and Elizabeth individually. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Consortium News. You are representing Consortium News, and I'm attacking Consortium News' hypocrisy. I'm not calling you a hypocrite, because you're the one who hasn't. I doubt you have control over the comment section, and it appears that it was Joe who is the editor-in-chief of Consortium News. And I breached the policy of an untrue statement, yet the untrue statement that someone makes like Ronnie Mitchell still stays up there. False statement. I violated the comments policy with a false statement. You know what's a false statement? This statement right here. And if you think that I am false in saying that this is a false statement, then find the time where I've referred to mass shootings as false flags. You won't. Because if at anything, I would refer to mass shootings as psyops. And I don't. I said they might be. I would never know. Just the official narrative, official story seems to have some weird things about it. And I question and I look into those weird things, but I can't make up my mind one way or the other. And if you ask me, well, I mean, look, you say you're a flat earther. Yeah, you know why? Because I found lies within the narrative of the globe Earth. NASA, moon landing, the proof that ships fall or any object falls over the horizon, like they say, to prove that the globe is a globe. Yet whenever, if you want to look at it through zoomed lenses, telescopes, and like say the Nikon P900 or P1000, you can see that they don't. You can see the full ship. It's not going over the horizon. When the curve of the Earth should be 8 inches per mile squared, there's 0 inches per mile squared being shown when you zoom in onto that ship going over the horizon. And you watch Genius by Stephen Hawking, and of course you do a search on it with my name, you don't find it till later. And let's see, this is what I find.
Grammarly does more than
stupid. I find the lie.
Yeah, I have you on the telescope.
The editing.
Go ahead and land.
of a show.
As it lands, it completely disappears from my line of sight.
This is why I refer to myself as a flat earth.
When you can see us on spots of the horizon.
I got him. I got him.
I can't prove that the earth is globe or flat, but hey, I'll just state the other side until I know more. They could have easily just shown the real result. Yet, to obviously have edited, reusing the same footage to show what the results are, is not the true results. It's tampered with in some way. Why would you tamper with it? Why would you lie about a result? Especially when you're using Stephen Hawking's name. I mean, he's one of the most famous scientists almost everyone knows about, Stephen Hawking. So people are going to say, hey, look, this proves right here it's a globe. Yet they're reusing the same footage. I don't know which one they used originally, but you have two different instances, one where the helicopter goes up and one where the helicopter goes down. It's irrefutable. This is a lie, what you're watching right here. That Genius by Stephen Hawking shows, episode 7, season 1. I can't prove or disprove. I'm in a constant state of unknowing, but knowing knowing the lie. And so if I know the lie, why should I choose to keep thinking it's one way when they constantly lie about it? Yeah, as journalists, what do you say about this? You would never talk to me about flat earth. You would never talk to me about this being shown. You would never talk to me about how NASA.gov states that the Earth was proven as a globe because Eratosthenes measured the radius of the Earth. You would never talk to me about how when you look into Eratosthenes and how he measured the Earth, he had 5 important assumptions. And one of those assumptions was he assumed that the Earth was a globe. So if that's proof, because he measured the radius of something that was assumed were the radius of the object, that object was round, then, or in a globe, I mean, can you, what are your thoughts on that? Would you even talk about it? I doubt it. I can expose the lies, but you know, the hardest part, and I keep saying, is just to have people look at these lies. Most people never will. And yet, a lot of the things like, look, he could just mention that, but no less important is that he is also a flat earther. No less important is that also is a flat earther. What does it matter? And it's like, okay, Rodney Mitchell, have you looked into the globe Earth? I don't want you to look into flat Earth. I don't want you to look into, and I tell people, when you look into flat Earth, don't look at flat Earth, look at globe Earth. Look at what they're telling you. Can you spot the lie? If you can't spot the lie, then it doesn't matter if you look into flat Earth. There's lies in flat Earth. Biggest hypocrite on flat Earth in community-wise is Nathan Oakley and his buddy pal John Quantum Eraser. They just want you to move back into the control mechanism of religion, that of Christianity. I'll call them out. They're flat earthers. I call Consortium News out for their hypocrisy. I'm calling out anybody. Everyone knows I pretty much call out the mainstream media. Oh, that's an easy one. They're hypocrites. But is there going to be anyone who's not a hypocrite calling out on other hypocrites? That, I hope that's me. Anyone want to catch me on a hypocritical remark? First thing I'll do is say, okay, that was a hypocritical remark. I'm sorry. You know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to start attacking people who are saying that I'm being hypocritical. I'm going to say, hey, let's reflect. Was I being hypocritical? No, look, it looks like I was. Thank you. I shouldn't have been hypocritical. I was wrong. Instead, you're just going to double down and attack. Like, where do we see that? Where do we see that all the time? Whenever we call out mainstream media or establishment, they attack the people who are criticizing them. Why don't we look at Julian Assange? Julian Assange, they attack him. Why do they attack him? Do they attack the people he's exposing, the corruption that occurs within organizations and governments? Do they attack those people that he's exposing? No, they attack Julian Assange. Huh. So when I'm exposing hypocrisy, instead of looking inwardly at the hypocrisy, why are you attacking me? Makes you wonder, huh? Like, it's done. This is my second video on it. If you want to keep attacking me, I'll make a third video, part 3. Keep attacking me, I'll make a fourth video, part 4. Keep attacking me, I'll make a fifth video, part 5. There's no end to this. You can just stop it and leave it as it is. Just leave me alone. You asked for my help. I didn't ask for your help. I didn't ask to get paid. I didn't even ask how much I wanted to help. This is you guys asking for me to help. You guys are saying this is what you would pay. Or how much would be paid. Hold on. Okay, give me a second. Let me look. Oh, go ahead and hit the left arrow on the top left, Leela. That's the back button.
Which one?
That's the very top left of the browser. So go to the mouse. See that arrow that's pointing left?
This one?
No, up. Go up. Move the mouse up to the left. All the way to the left. Top left. No, that's the right. All the way to the left. See that arrow going this way, Leela? Look at my finger. See that? The very left. Go to the very left. There. You see that? Okay, click that. Keep clicking. Click it one more time. Alright, there you go. Good? Mm-hmm. Alright. I didn't ask for any of this. I didn't ask for any of the drama. I didn't ask to be censored. I didn't be asked to be accused of referring to making a statement that I didn't make. I told you exactly the statement I made, and I want you to put it in full context. I didn't want you to just put 1/3 of the statement I made and say, hey, that is an unfactual statement, and that's why we took down your comment. And you should make those comments, not policy of Consortium News. When was it ever a policy of Consortium News? I thought Consortium News was about not censoring. Yet you guys are constantly censoring what I'm saying and attacking me on that, and attacking me as far as in a personal matter, which I've never attacked anyone in a personal matter, because that's no longer a thing that I do. All I'm doing is exposing the hypocrisy and the lies, because that's what I've always started on doing, and I realized that's what I need to do, and not focusing and attacking on people. People can change. And if I attack a person, they're just going to double down defending themselves. They're not going to change themselves. I want people to just look inwardly at themselves and not just blindly attacking others that attack them. Since I have never attacked you personally, or even Joe personally, or even Elizabeth personally, and I would never attack Elizabeth. So far, Elizabeth has no say on this matter that has occurred. I mean, you've attacked me, fine. I'm not going to attack you. Now, I'm not going to do personal attacks. I know there's nothing good in that. And if you can see all the videos I've made, I'd say just look at the last maybe 50 videos. You'll understand why. I doubt you will. But really, is this where you want to go? Is this what you want to do with your life, with the time that you have left? There's people who are standing up for truth, wanting the freedoms of not being censored. You just want to attack them. And you want to ask for their help, especially after they've been making mistakes, and who doesn't make mistakes. And I could say a lot more about these issues myself, But yeah, I will own up to mistakes I make. I'm not going to point out personally mistakes people make, because people make mistakes. It's no big deal, in my opinion. I make mistakes all the time. So who am I to say that calling out all your constant mistakes? But one hypocrisy is pointing out the mistakes of others, but none of your own. Following one policy for certain people who are viewers, who are probably people who you get paid from, but you're going to go ahead and enforce the policy of those that you pay, who are within Consortium News. Let's look at Consortium News as far as, what are they about? What's Consortium News about? The mainstream media. All right, so here, from the late founder and editor Robert Perry. When we founded Consortium News in 1995 as the first investigative news magazine based on the internet, there was already a crisis building in the U.S. news media. The mainstream media was falling into a pattern of groupthink on issue after issue, often ignoring important factual information because it didn't fit with all the important people knew to be true. Indeed, that was the original reason that I turned to what was then a new media platform to create a home for well-reported stories and to challenge the many misguided conventional wisdoms. One of the reporters who helped expose the Iran-Contra scandal for the Associated Press in the mid-1980s, I was distressed by the silliness and propaganda that had come to pervade American journalism. I feared, too, that the decline of the U.S. press foreshadowed disasters that would come when journalists failed to alert the public about impending dangers. Also, by 1995, documents were emerging that put the history of the 1980s in a new and more troubling light, yet there were fewer and fewer media outlets interested in that history. The memories of Ronald Reagan and George H.W. Bush were enveloped in warm and fuzzy myths that represented another kind of danger, false history that could lead to mistaken political judgments in the future. Some of our early articles re-examined important chapters of the 1980s, such as the October surprise controversy from election 1980 and evidence of Nicaraguan Contra cocaine trafficking. Although we have struggled with funding, surviving for more than 2 decades through a combination of our own frugality and generosity of our readers, we have managed to produce groundbreaking journalism on many of the most significant issues of the day, including national security, foreign policy, politics, and the environment. We also looked at the underlying problems of modern democracy, particularly the insidious manipulation of citizens by government propaganda and the accomplished role played by mainstream media. Rather than encouraging diversity in analysis, especially on topics of war and peace, today's mainstream media takes a perverse pride in excluding responsible alternative views. It's as if the New York Times, the Washington Post, CNN, and others have learned nothing from the disaster of the Iraq War when they pushed a groupthink about WMD and betrayed their responsibilities to the American people and the people of the world. And one thing to point out, Iran-Contra scandal, what was that? False flag? What was the WMDs? That there's reports of WMDs? Is that a psyop? Yeah. Can't investigate it. Well, we tried to investigate it. And are we still investigating it? Many people have. And what do we find out? Do we just blindly accept what the government told us and the mainstream media told us? No. So how is that any different when you do that for mass shootings that are, quote unquote, often done? Not all the time, it seems. Despite all the death, destruction, and destabilization caused by the Iraq invasion, there was almost no accountability in the U.S. press corps, with many of the worst offenders still holding down prominent jobs and still engaging in the same terrible journalism. When I was a young reporter, I thought that there were almost always two sides of a story and often more. I was expected to seek out those alternative views and not dismiss them or pretend they didn't exist. I also realized that finding the truth often required digging beneath the surface and not just picking up the convenient explanation sitting out in the open. God, I respect this guy so much. I wish I knew more about him. But the major Western news outlets began to see journalism differently. It became their strange duty to shut down questioning of the official story when the official story had major holes and made little sense. That's what I've always touted. Look at the official story. Don't look at flat Earth and flat Earth organizations. Look at the official story. See if there's holes in it. See if there's parts where it doesn't make sense. Even when the evidence went in a different direction and serious analysts were disputing the groupthink. Looking back over the past 2 decades, I wish I could say that the media trend that we detected in the mid-1990s had been reversed. But if anything, it's grown worse. The major Western news outlets now conflate the discrete difficulties from made-up fake news and baseless conspiracy theories with responsible dissenting analysis. All get thrown into the same pot and subjected to disdain and ridicule. Huh. What is that? What's the most disdained and ridicule things? The 2 most disdained things that people ridicule and attack you for when you want to investigate whether a mass shooting is potentially a psyop or false flag. And when that the idea that the globe Earth isn't, or the idea that the globe Earth has been a lie. These 2 things no one wants to talk about. Why? Again, I would rather have mass shootings be faked and be psyops rather than having known that actual people really died from this. 2, when I say that, I also would say I do not want the government or any organization to mislead the American citizens and people of the world. So, yes, while I would rather have these mass shootings as being psyops, I also would not want them to be psyops because you're doing 2 bad things. But instead, people will just say mass shootings are mass shootings. You have to listen to the FBI and the government on this one, and mainstream media. It has to be. Why? Why is this topic such a big deal that you can't talk about the opposing argument? And then the other one, everyone has to add it in. He's a flat earther. And you know, the reason why I like being called a flat earther is to see what people automatically assume about you when you claim to be a flat earther. There's assumptions automatically made when someone says they are a flat earther. That's why I like to claim that I am a flat earther. Not necessarily I know for true that the earth is flat or that the earth isn't a globe. But, you know, I'm definitely swayed one way towards what I claim to be. I mean, just like when people ask me, hey, are you Christian? No, I'm not Christian. I'm agnostic and at most Gnostic. And they go, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, it does make sense. And they go, well, didn't you say that you're a follower of Jesus? And I would say, yeah, I'm a follower of Yeshua, his teachings. But you say you're not Christian? And I go, no. At most, you may call me a Gnostic Christian in a sense, but I'm not that either. It's like, well, you're obviously one confused individual. And I go, okay, so what are you? Are you religious? You go, I'm an atheist. So you believe that there is no God whatsoever. That's a belief. Yeah. Or they'll go, yeah, I'm a Christian. And I talk about a lot of these things about Christianity and talk about the person that are or the people who are. Let's ask about their denomination. Like, do you think the person who's preaching to you about about Christianity that they're not hypocrites, that they're following the word of your God? Well, how much do they make? What's their do they preach about being poor, you can't buy your way into heaven, etc., all that stuff? Yet they probably live in a mansion. Do they have a private jet? Who knows? Do they have a fancy car? Probably. It's like, do you look at those things? They go, no. Do you look at any other religions out there, or philosophies on religion? No. Then how do you know for sure just that one thing that you're studying is the correct one? I go, I'm sure. All of this adds up. No, hardly anyone listens to what I have to say. Yeah, a lot of the stuff that I say is exactly the things that people prop up, and I'm attacked for it. Who's getting attack Robert Perry? No one. He's dead. He did a lot of good journalism. You'll attack me though. I consider my investigations as journalism, but I have no point just to point out other than the hypocrisy and the lie. I don't know the truth, but I know the truth doesn't come from a lie. So if I find out that someone is lying about something, well, why are they lying about that something? Carrying on, we have seen travesties such as legendary investigative journalist Seymour Hersh having to take his important story debunking the Obama administration's claims about the Syria sarin case of 2013, which is a false flag to the London Review of Books because his normal outlets in the United States wouldn't run his exposé. So where are we seeing? Obstruction of investigations, suppression of investigations. Now, even as the fate of the world becomes more tenuous amid a resumption of Cold War tensions between the West and Russia, we are seeing the Western media engaging in self-inflicted blindness. So, I mean, Consortium News doesn't even see their self-inflicted blindness. That has left the West citizens blind as well. This dilemma, this crisis in democracy has made the role of Consortium News even more essential today than it may have been in 1995. And hey, Consortium News, in memory of Robert Perry, why don't you look to yourself and see if you are being hypocritical to your own way of thinking. And what else is there? Let's see. And the other part. So much to it. I never say believe. And again, attacking. Because you're the kind of person who also believes it is my way or the highway. No. I just want nothing to have to do with any organization that is being hypocritical. And there's the part where I am being attacked for suppressing the live streams of let's see if I could find it. Suppressing or censoring, because I'm no longer partaking in live streams for Consortium News. Where is it? I know it's somewhere. Give me a minute. Again, can't rule it out since you believe the earth is flat. Again, it's not a belief. It's a position that I take because when you look into that the Earth being round has been often lied and distorted, what else can I assume? I do not know whether the Earth is flat or round, and neither do you. You don't know if the Earth is flat or a globe. If you're a journalist, why don't you research it? Why don't you look into it? I doubt that's going to happen, because your journalistic integrity will be at stake. Let's see. 3, 4, 5, 4. There's a part where she goes, someone goes, 5, 6, 6A. Uh, 7, 8. Maybe I can't find it. Oh, I can't find it. I was pretty sure that there was a statement where I am I was accused of saying that I am censoring Consortium News by no longer helping them live stream. The irony in that. And again, you know, if you want to get your message out there, I live stream. You can go ahead and look at my description box. You can join in my live stream meetings. You can have your people, the people that you interview, come on and state your news. I doubt that will ever happen. All right, I think I'm kind of done. Let's see. Chat. Happy days. I'm bleached. Are you exposing? Sleepless in Seattle. Retracted. Let's see. I Love Awakening. How's it going? Kathy B. Hi. How are you doing? Yeah. I mean, as long as I'm constantly attacked, I'll keep adding in parts to the Consortium News hypocrisy. Like I don't need to. I don't want to. I'd like to move on. I got dragged into this. I made a statement. They made a big deal out of the first third of the statement and didn't put my entire quote in its full context, or my entire statement in its full context. I replied to a comment about that I am referring to mass shootings as false flags, which is a false statement, yet that comment is still up. My comment stating what I stated and that his comment is a lie was removed, thus being censored. Yet replied that Consortium News does not censor, yet they are censoring me. What do you mean, Kathy? She put in your name in that, Abon? Yeah. Who else is she talking to? I put in hours, countless hours of work, yet I only have a flat rate of $100 per airing of Consortium News. Plenty of things. Should I don't want to show too much of anything that might be sensitive, but why don't we take a look? Let's see. Pretty much a lot of stuff, analytics, a lot of these events, the fonts used, images, invoice, notes, OBS recordings, sound, videos, web. A lot of this having to do with the in order to make things good. Oh, no. Yeah, I guess I'll just use it that. Why don't we just use... In order to make things easy to edit, I'll increase the font size. Yeah, I know it's hard to see in this. I'm just getting large. Oh my goodness. It's taking over. Yes, Kathy. They are accusing me of censoring them by not continuing to live stream them or get them back up into finding my replacement for 2 weeks. This might take a while, so let's just go back here. Here you can see, like, just stop. Just stop. You won't have to see a part 3. I don't want to do a part 3. I just want to be done. It's not like it's hard. I mean, this stuff is easy. Most of it's just CSS, a little bit of HTML. Everything is set up to be easy to change on the fly in case guests aren't ready. Putting in all the stuff where people will be coming in, what to expect later, all of that stuff. That's all based off of Kathy Vogan's work, all her design work, and putting everything outside of its own pieces to work seamlessly through the transitions of a live stream, mimicking that of say mainstream media types of live streams. All this was set up for them. All of it, all the recordings that we have, the notes that were needed, images set up, fonts needing to be precise, sizes, etc., animations, all of that. I don't use any of this stuff. If you don't think that takes hours and hours, maybe you guys should do it. Maybe it'll take you half the time it took me. Maybe it'll take you maybe 4 hours to get all of that done. I doubt it. And I have doubts that I'll get paid with my last 2 episodes of this month where I sent in my invoice. They're probably not going to honor that agreement. Maybe when September, when did I resign? On the 10th? Maybe. Yeah, so maybe in September 10th, if I don't get my $200 for the month of August, I'll just say, hey, part 3 didn't pay me. I didn't even complain. That's more money that I'm making because I don't make any money. What happens when all my money runs out? I mean, it's pretty much relying on my wife. I got family and friends. They don't give me anything. My brother gives a little. But not to me. It's more for my kids. That's fine with me. But what can I do without making any money? I don't know. It's getting to be almost crunch time. What happens? Does it end in divorce? Does it end with me not being with my kids? Does it end with me just working a few, just working to wherever, you know, or maybe I finally do what I said to do, is just train people on technology locally and having them move on. And I'm not going to get paid for my services. It's going to be donation based. So, you know, all the stuff that I teach will be for free. But hopefully it gets people to have a better position in life through the materialistic monetary means. Does it mean instead of spending time with my daughter after school or when she's not in school, it just stays in a daycare or extended school programs where I get to see her rather than hours in a day, maybe an hour or two a day? Don't know. Gotta figure things out. Maybe things have already been figured out. But yeah, I give tutorials on OBS. People can watch them. There's plenty of tutorials out there too. Anyone could learn. I guess that's it. I want to... Oh my goodness. No, Mia. That is way too much. Please. I need you to not do that. I can't accept that. I can't. How do I send it back? I mean, I thank you for that. Maybe a little is fine, you know, but no. Google, let me send. Maybe I need to start to disable the what is that thing called? I mean, that's just incredible, Maya, but no, I can't. Mia, you are killing me. What do I call it? Say Google Super. How do I mean, all right. It's beyond words, Maya. But if you send it back over my friends, I'll just thank you. Hopefully I can make good use of it. Again, it's beyond words. But yeah, let's keep going. There are good people in this world, and we can't stop trying to make the world better. And in order to that, we have to just have a firm stance on our integrity and not sacrifice one bit of it. Otherwise, it's just little by little, people just give in a little. No, we don't need truth. We can just stand for a little bit of truth. We don't need honor. We just stand for a little bit of honor, you know, and all of a sudden it goes away. But it shouldn't go away. I think that's the thing. I don't think I've really done a lot, because regardless of what we participate in, as far as what Julian's situation is, Julian Assange, we haven't stopped the establishment from doing what they want with him. All the live streams, all the visuals, all the tweets, all the protests, you know, all of that, as much as that is good, it hasn't worked. And we have to think about that. It's like, what can we start doing where it does work, where we don't have whistleblowers being attacked, imprisoned, assassinated, which prevents other people from exposing corruption within systems that shouldn't be corrupt. Because what we're doing is still the same thing that we're doing that isn't working. I mean, that's like, I don't know what else more to do. I mean, we got to think of something, but we're still at that impasse. I mean, we've got hundreds, if not thousands, of people who support Julian Assange. And Chelsea Manning, for that matter. We're lumping a lot of pretty much every whistleblower out there together. People would also say Edward Snowden. Some people would count him out, but look, he still exposed corruption, exposed surveillance programs that should have been known about to the public, but they weren't. After the fact that they were found out about, then they go, okay, that is what we're doing, but still, that shouldn't have been exposed. No, it should have been. How do we change the outcome of what we know is coming? An Antarctica tour. You know, I am adamant about going to the North Pole, the actual magnetic North Pole, and seeing what's out there, what comes back. Because there are people who, Brian, Antarctic Expedition, he wants to go and explore Antarctica, and I think that's great. I think we need to explore, not just a tour, Maya, but an exploration of it. And then what's interesting to see, if we can actually make that attempt, is who stops us. I mean, I have a feeling that they're not going to stop us from going, because in my strategic mind and sense, it's like there's dangers in that attempt. Just worry about when they come back. Because it's hard to monitor a broad range of but what you can do is monitor from a point, and then monitor things that happen when they return from that. And it's just the return that makes the most sense. Like, I doubt there's going to be any satellite or communication streams where you can live stream from Antarctica or the North Pole, magnetic North Pole. But anyways, yeah, I think the attempt to get up there is one thing. The journey back, I think, will be met with authoritative forces. They got them. They look cool and very cold. I wish I had enough. Makes me wonder how sincere seeing stars are. Look, regardless of an organization, those associating with the organization, just you kind of have to look past that a little bit. Even within, like, I'm pointing out the hypocrisy of Consortium News, but not like the other stuff I don't disagree with. So, like, this is almost nitpicking in some point, right? Just like when I exposed the hypocrisy of Nathan Oakley and John Quantum Racer and the Flat Earth thing, they do a lot of good things as far as getting the idea of what a scientific experiment is, what it, and repeating those same experiments that the globe Earth model has. But once they start talking about their God and their Christianity religion, they don't and they use the same format. They go, hey, look, here's research done, and all this research proves God, creator, etc. Yet they won't look at the research themselves and make sure that the research that they state as part of their little thing is has been validated. And like, what's the simple question? What's the scientific research that was done for that? It says it's a theory. So can you elaborate on that? They won't answer it. They'll just attack. It's like, can't I just ask a simple question without being attacked? And they attack others when they say, hey, no, you just have to accept this experiment as it is. It's so that's the hypocrisy I'm stating. But some of the stuff they talk about flat Earth, I'd say it's good. It's just when they don't look at themselves, when they're being hypocritical in their findings. And it's hard, really. I mean, I have to constantly reflect when I'm with my kids. Am I doing things I wouldn't have liked when I was with my father? Am I being hypocritical in my approach to raising them? As far as what I espouse? And let's here. Leela, come here. Leela,
What?
come here, please. Can you pause it? Can you pause it? Pause. There you go. All right, come here real quick. All right, I want to ask you a question. Do I like liars? Do I like it when you lie?
No.
No? Why not?
Because it's mean
Yeah.
and it's not nice.
So if you do something wrong and you lie about it, what do I get more angry about?
Why?
Okay. But sometimes if you do something wrong and you tell the truth that you did it and you're sorry about it, what happens? You don't really get in trouble that much, do you? You still got chocolate all over your face. All right.
From why?
From your chocolate pancakes. All right. Back. Thank you. And we were all raised in somewhat the same fashion, I would say, hopefully. And if I'm gonna be that critical with my kids about the truth and about lying, and about, you know, being sorry about the things that you've done wrong, then I have to live up to that same bar. And I tell you, it isn't easy until you just make sure that you don't budge at all. It is easy in that sense because you just realize I'm adamant about this. I'm adamant about freedoms. I'm adamant about the truth. So, and am adamant about justice. And if I'm doing the same things with my kids, or if I'm doing it differently than how I live my life and how I am retrospective to the world around me, then I'm being a hypocrite. So a lot of that is just reflection, self-reflection. It's almost constant. It's like, okay, I'm getting my daughter did something I didn't like, or my wife didn't like, and we could tell her we don't like it, or we're gonna tell her to not do that. And then it's like, okay, would I do the same thing? I might have, but we don't want her to do it. Then why? Because isn't that a hypocritical stance? And then I go, I would reflect and probably say I shouldn't do that either. I do it. So, you know, I'm a little bit more lenient on her, saying, look, I do the same thing, but we don't want you to do that. I shouldn't be doing that. And we just go on from that. So it's tough.
Fine, like flies.
Being a good parent and being a good person, good whether you view it as objective or subjective, you know, I feel as though we should live by certain virtues, not because it's virtuous, but because those virtues, there's a reason for those virtues, right? And I think there's a lot of people who just go through the motions of it's like it's what's expected, it's whatever, but what's the reason, what's the underlying factors for going through those motions? There should be a reason for it. So I think that's what I like to focus on. And I think I ended at that. I do want to focus on other material things that I planned to talk about, and I know some people aren't into some of these things. Some people are interested in certain interviews with people, especially like Shirley. Some people want certain topics, but sometimes, because the thing is, I'm subscribed to so many people, and I just kind of, even if I don't watch all of it or just some of it, I do get email notifications, and so I see from the topic what they're talking about. Like, there's so much stuff on Jeffrey Epstein that I feel like it's really nothing I need to do any topic on for Jeffrey Epstein. I feel like what's out there that's really not being discussed, and then I want to discuss that. And because I feel as though if no one else is talking about it, I should probably be talking about it. So it's kind of at that point, and then of course certain things just kind of come up, and I was like, hey, that I found this out. Isn't this kind of a cool little thing to know about? And we go from there. Thank you everyone who watches. Thank you Myra Miar in the Panhandle. That name just kills me. And look, I can't thank a lot of you enough, because you guys have been around and just always watching and constantly there to support me, and I can't thank you enough for that. And it's the reason I keep going, really. I don't know if I would keep going if I had 0 views every time, but you know, even if it gets, I've made videos where I get like 1 to like 4 views, but I'll still keep going. But you know, it's just keep going as long as I can, figure things out as I go along, and live life with purpose and meaning, and hopefully we can figure out these problems so that, you know, the younger generations don't have to. We don't have to have them pay off all our debts, have them pay off solve all our problems, and we're leaving them really with nothing, and we're expecting them to solve everything. It just seems wrong that way. Kathy B. Lip service and avowal of advocacy, adherence, or allegiance expressed in words but not backed by deeds. Yeah. I mean, even politics, like Friday we'll do politics, and it's like, hey, if everything that our politicians really said and they actually did, you know, regardless of who it is, even if it's Donald Trump, we might actually be in a better stance. But yeah, they just say something and do the exact opposite. All right. So, please, Consortium News, look to your own hypocrisy. I like to look to mine. Please, no more further attacks. Just leave it alone. I don't want to do part 3. And let's move on. Let's look at what else is out there. Talk about things that no one's talking about, no one wants to talk about, and ask why no one wants to talk about it, and see what happens then. All right, thanks, and I'll see you later.